just when I'm back on. So we're into the modeling workspace with layer stacks episode, and hybrids. Yeah, simplified motion on top of a hand-offered initial state. Also good. So you have one human in the loop and one agent, for example, as well, or simulation or a service, and it human changes something and agent contributes after calculation. Yeah, and keep it simple. So initially you tend to do everything in its own layer, but that gets confusing and fast. And as I said, maybe referencing is also an option. Yeah, as I said, it's cost is involved.
Michi, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the session layer, yeah. Have you, or what I figured is that instead of trying to work on this in the right layer right from the start, it makes, at least to my workflows, it makes sense to just work on the session layer, do everything there, and then after a certain time, just pull the stuff from the session layer in the according layer, because this way you can always lock the other layers and you're not accidentally on the wrong layer, and you just don't have to think of where you have to put stuff. You just work and then you organize later on. Is that something that somebody else can say that they've worked this way?
So we have some extensions that work this way, and the motivation is mostly due to the computational constraints. So working in the session layer is just faster since it's in memory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
okay, because it...
I know it. You want to say something?
No.
So I'm just pulling on Composer as well. I had made the experience that if you like, so a session layer is always good because you're working in, you should basically work in your stage. So in your so if you switch between active layers in one file, that's confusing, and I think also tends to give a sign that the workflow itself is not completely like optimal. So maybe working in a different asset, which is a layer, but yeah, makes sometimes also sense. So yeah, switching between layers in one file is like, here we have that. So we work here on this up layer. So this is what that's referring to. Here I'm working on the main authoring layer. As long as I do stuff here, it's in a second layer basically. That's a in-memory layer, I think. Yeah. And then maybe I have another layer dealing with the material assignment. So then I can switch to my set authoring layer to this layer. And then everything I do from now goes into this layer. Yes, a question?
Yeah, Michi, when I'm like this cone right now, yeah, you just created.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is on which layer now? Or let me.
It's on this layer, yeah.
Okay, but this is
Because
the only way for you.
It.
This is like the only way for you to check, right? You can't go on the stage and right-click the prim and then get the information on which layer it is.
Here you can't, but if you want to really dig deep into the where something comes from, the USD view is the tool to go to. Yeah, let's do here some editing as well, and then we look at it in the USD view. Here is here. Material assignment. Yeah. It still takes a little time for the shoulders to work. Check my slide. So now as you see here, I've got the material assignment here and yeah, several things distributed. I might leave in 5 minutes for boarding, so excuse me for that. Let's go to the USD view. And see where everything has landed. And for the new ones, this structure is from the USD study journey, from the Learn USD journey. You can set it up like this. It's described here. To have elements. That way it is in USD view, right? There we go. Come on. Come. Has anybody already opened it? Yeah. Take some time for me. Fine. So if you might wonder why this doesn't show the colors as here, this is an RTX view, so it's a ray trace basically, and this is a Hydra storm rendering view. So Hydra is basically the rendering framework. So that's the most basic one, but storm. So you can see the geometry that you have to say. And so here's our structure, right?
But if I have a preview surface, then the preview surface should show the color, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, because you assigned an MDL, and that just doesn't show in the.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So here you see it's right. Look here, it's basically a shader and MDL shoulder.
Yeah, there it says. You go render context MDL.
Okay, so now let's see. If you look into the cone or the sphere, let's go for the cone. See here you have all the properties. And here in the layer stack, you see from which layers contribute to this cone, right? So that's our. We did the material assignment on the root layer, and the actual mesh comes from the layer 1. And also the composition says okay here, right? And we don't, and this is interesting as well, the composition. We don't have information on this cone in layer 2. We just have the mesh in layer 1 and the material assignment in the root layer. So this is basically the place if you want to like debug USD files.
Okay, so we've got this composition tab here, yeah, and we don't have anything like this in Omniverse.
I'm not sure actually if there's an extension which shows that.
Yeah.
Maybe developer extension. See. I see USD composition window. That's what there is always there is already an extension for that. Yeah. So let's install it and check. Oh, but guys, I'm so sorry, but I have to go boarding now. So they called. Yeah, just continue as you want. I'll put the material on the site, and I'll be back then next week. And unfortunately, I have to leave now. So have a good weekend, and you can continue. I'll leave the Teams meeting on. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Likewise.
Have a good flight.
Have a good flight.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Okay, last week I had to jump in. I think it's Julian's turn now.
It's my turn. Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Should we just try to pick up the thread where we just were, or?
To be fair, I just did some mails. Meanwhile, I didn't follow his
Okay.
his coding. Did anyone follow the coding? Then we can pick up where we just left and go through it with a little more, let's say, common.
Can does somebody have the learning path open and can just copy paste it into the chat?
Learning path I got, just not the coding part.
Oh, the coding part was just he was just showing how to debug stuff in the USD view.
All right.
But we weren't in there. We were in the work streams, right? Or did we already go to this one, to variant sets?
Yeah, so I think we left off at the end of this first one, right?
Okay.
They're modeling with layer stack. And then we went over to an exercise, but I think it was just more like what Michael wanted to do, make a easier demonstration than this one. Or did we just start on this?
No, we didn't start on this. I was just asking a couple questions of how to debug stuff, and then he jumped over to show it there. So it had nothing to do with this here. So does anybody have questions regarding the stuff that we did with Michi? So he was explaining how to use layers, when to use layers, the benefits of working in the session, in the which is performance and cleanness. And I was like, in the past, I didn't really work on the session layer, and I just figured that it makes much more sense for me to work on the session layer, and then you can just drag from who's sharing its screen? Julian, are you?
Yeah.
Do you have Omniverse open?
Not right now, but I can change it quickly.
Okay, because I can also share my screen.
Yeah, then let's do it that way.
Okay, I'll make a new one. I'll share mine.
I mean, if you're yourself manually working on the session layer, it's not a problem. But if your extension or your program is working on the session layer, you always have to be aware that it might be your extension is just being shut down, right? Because the user is closing the Isaac sim or because something doesn't work. So choosing when to write your stuff from the session layer into another proper USD-based layer or file-based layer is essential to have that timing right and not lose your changes if you want to preserve them.
Yeah. So this is a very basic scene here. It just has a cube in here, which is on the main stage. I have already set up different layers, which is, I actually made a file, a bat automated stuff so that I just click it and then it just generates folders and files for me. I'll go into this in another time. But like, for instance, I want to work and I just generate a new mesh, cylinder, cube, whatever. Oh, I have this freaking sizing problem again. Wait 1 second. I hate it. That's why. This setup that I created here has a sizing issue. Anyway, it's work in progress. So I've got this cube here, and I play around with it. I add some material. So I just grab the material from down here. Carbon fibers are awesome. So I just drag and drop it on here. And now I can see here that I have the cube. And I can just, So in general, I can layer. Okay, that's not it. Okay. Now I did tell you that I made all this. So let's see. I should be able to drag and drop this here. Move your material and asset layer. So the material I should be able to, if I unlock it, so I should be able to pull it to this layer. And then the cube, which is this one, right? Yeah, I can put it to my asset layer. And now if I turn off the material, so I can work in here.
It takes a while, but yeah.
Yeah, I can work in my session layer. Yeah, and of course it helps if I name stuff and everything. And then at a certain point, I can just pull it in the according layer. Prior of me doing it this way, I always ended up being on the wrong layer accidentally, and then I had to pull around stuff as well. You can always right-click a certain layer and go to the edit, and then it opens up in where is it? Oops. And then it should open up in here. Does it? Yeah. And then you can always work on this level as well. Yeah. But you have to make sure that once you're done, you have to finish editing, and then it's being pulled back altogether. But you can work in the simultaneously with the code and in Omniverse, and it updates. Okay, so Julian, can I pass it back to you?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Does anybody have questions regarding this?
Maybe one more interesting thing is that when you, or how the studios use this, the animation studios that work with Pixar for the films, there the layer is like is for each department, right? So each department has its 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, however they organize it, and they work in those, and then the different departments come together to aggregate the layers, and then they use the user management typically, or they would use the user management if they would use Omniverse. But from BMW, I know that they use the user management to try to seal off layers, so that you have the access.
Can you explain that?
So the if you use the user management of the nucleus, right?
Yeah.
You can assign groups, etc., with different rights for different layers. So you're unable to write into the layer of some other planning department, for example.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And what I was wondering about is whether it is intentional, that we would probably need to ask somebody else, maybe someone here knows, whether it is intentional of the Omniverse developers that the versioning is restricted to just having checkpoints and not having all the branching and merging functionalities that you would have in a Git.
In a Git.
Yeah. Because you could depict all of this in layers, right? Having different branches is like having different layers you activate or deactivate from a functional standpoint. So
I can tell you who developed that, the nucleus, if you want to ask him.
well, on occasion, yeah. Wouldn't like.
Wait, I'll let you know. I'll let you know in a second. But go ahead.
Okay. So we have this exercise to working with the layer stack. A large building, we open a layer. Wait, I could do that here. I have somewhere the repository. Oh, so I thought. Oh no, okay. I have a old version of the repository that is quite incomplete. Okay. Jan, do you have the current state of the repository with the exercise 4 and beyond assets?
You mean the Learn OpenUSD?
Mm-hmm.
Wait 1 second. Actually, I've never used it in this way, but I should have a fairly current repo. Anyway, I posted the Martin Carlson. He is the guy that made the Nucleus server.
Okay, thanks.
But oh damn it! But you can just download it, can't you?
Can I also just check it out here?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, this is just the documentation and not the data about it.
But you should, at the website, you should be able to just download it. That's what Mickey did last time.
Yeah. Probably here. Downloading the tools.
I could not find the libraries. I was doing the same. I could not find the libraries
okay.
up to now. I think the site changed or something changed. So there is this develop with Omniverse libraries, but I could not find.
Access the OpenUSD source code directly from the repository. But this is... okay.
This is Pixar. No.
This is the Pixar stuff directly. Yeah, this is the OpenUSD source code. Okay, not the
So
learning.
what are you looking for right now?
For this repository with the source code for the course.
That one, I think.
Is it this code samples? Nope. Those are very specific samples. Mm-mm-mm. Download the library and tools. Pre-built OpenUSD. Okay. This did in fact change, yeah.
Maybe it was the one that says develop with OpenUSD.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe that one. But I cannot find exactly the same page as before. No.
Yeah.
But I did download something a while ago. Where did I put this?
It does not seem to contain the resources.
Maybe you can check the link that I'm posting. Is it this what you are looking for? Not sure, but
Get the exercise content. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Thanks.
no worries.
Amazing. Okay.
Okay, so it's just a little bit further up, right?
Yeah, it's within the Learn OpenUSD setup.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that we downloaded there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I refrain from sharing the whole screen because it's a 32:9. I don't think anyone would be happy. Let me change the window. Here we go. Okay. So we were at workstreams exercise adding a user workstream. And it starts with checking out the large building USD file. Okay. So we have some geometry, which is loaded in from contents geometry, which is just some vertices, material bindings. Yep. All good so far. Okay. We define where the up axis is, which is sadly still an issue often enough. But they can't seem to agree. And we have the scaling. Okay. Now, okay, and now since I just have the assets, I don't have the USD view script. Okay, but I would need to change window then anyway, so. Okay, it should compile into some gray building. And then we have this export sparse materials, which has some color data for the and material data for the different parts of the building. We have an assignment dictionary, and we'll probably just.
Can you please briefly explain what is dictionaries? What are they for?
Oh, just as a data structure, right? So formatted in JSON, we have here the material data, which is just you can browse it with searching for a key. So if I do, I'm quite sure about. But if I do material data and then those square brackets, I basically get the contents of this one, which is again another object. So I could probably not in Path, not quite sure. Whether this is valid syntax in Python, but
okay, so
you get the idea that I iterate into it. Yeah.
I don't because yes, I do, but I don't because I'm not from the programming. Okay, so the dictionary is a block where you define something which you can then later call and do operations with.
Yeah, you have an identifier, so a key, and then its value can be basically just a simple value, right? Like here we have some float, or it can be a set or list of values, or it could be a whole object that you can parse again. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. So in the script, we define our information, our material data, our assignments, which will probably be from a prim to our material we defined up there. And we open our stage, just this one. Have a shading layer path, which is defined. That's interesting. So the shading layer path is not defined yet. Okay, we create it if it doesn't exist. Yeah. So if it already exists, we open the layer. If it doesn't exist, which is currently the case, we create a new layer. And we create it on the highest level. So this is basically the upmost layer we insert. So the last one that is applied, just before the session layer. Session layer is always the topmost layer. As far as I know. I don't want to say always if I haven't written the code myself, but in my experience, always. Okay. I'm not familiar with using this edit context, to be fair. Does any of you, or is any one of you familiar with this? Otherwise, let's explore it together. Okay. Utility to modify a stage's current edit target during an execution scope. Ah, here we go. Okay. We can direct an edit to the stage's session layer. With the context object expires, it restores the stage's edit target to whatever it was previously. Okay. Okay. So the default context it uses is? Ah, no. Okay, we set it. I was wondering the default is, but we are not using a default. So what we actually do is we're using this shading layer as our edit context. Okay, so we're writing now into the shading layer. Define the look section such that we have a well-organized stage. This is best practice. And then for each of our materials, so for each of those entries, we create a new look or a new prim within looks as a material. So we have this path, we define a material, we define a shader. So we say we take this path of the material and below this path we append shader. So we have door/shader, window/shader, material default method/shader, etc. So for each of those. And then we make some changes to this shader. We say it's a preview surface shader. Probably, Jan, you can explain how this is leading to the handling or how this shader is then handled, what implications that has. You're muted.
So within Omniverse, you've got several different shader models. You've got the USD preview surface, which is the most simple surface that you can define in USD, which is also, yeah, every USD capable program can read this shader because it's the very basic thing, which it just gives you color, diffuse, and so on and so forth. It's also the most performant one. And in Omniverse, you also have MDL, and just recently you also have OpenPBR, which is a Material X, which is another schema which we don't have to go into. But yeah, USD preview is
A simple
the surface
shader,
that pics are defined to be consistent across all platforms, pretty much.
Okay. Okay, so for this simple shader with color, roughness, metallic factor, we set each of those properties according to our definition up here. So this is the diffuse color in RGB, this roughness and metallic, okay. So far so good. And we connect now this shader. So this is this graph coding speak. We have this shader with its inputs, color, roughness, metallic. And we now connect this shader endpoint. So it's connectable API, the thing that comes out of this graph coding node, so to say, of this node, and connect it to the surface input. I don't quite get this this naming, to be fair. So this says, hey, this MTL has an input called surface, or we have this create surface output, okay. This is basically making an input, right, for the MTL prim as a node. And we connect this to a source, which, again, this makes sense, which will be this output of this shader. And it is called surface. So this connection connects to surface from the shader output, which says, hey, basically what we do here is say, hey, material, use this shader. That's this line. And then we do the same for a displacement. Okay. Something else. Ah, yeah, okay. We assign this finished material prim to the material data, materials name. Okay, so we append this information of our material with this prim. By the way, you can simply use the prim using the toString method. Is quite costly in terms of performance, but this is working fine.
What is costly in performance if you do what?
If you do toString on a prim, or a prim name, or I think it's, I don't know whether it's with all prim properties, but at least with calling it on the prim name or something, those are considered costly, at least according to the OpenUSD survival guide. And I had made good experiences with their recommendations and statements. Okay. So now we traverse a whole stage. Yeah, exactly. Instead of checking, this is a good example of what you can do instead of getting the string or the name of a prim or the string of an API that is applied to it. Instead of checking with a string comparison whether a schema or API is applied, you can just call this prim is a mesh. So if this is a mesh, and here we have the costly one, but it happens after we filtered with the mesh. So I guess we only do it for those that might be interesting. We get the name and check whether we have some material data assignment. If we have the assignment, we take our material. So this will be basically then the material. And here we have to assign the material to the mesh. Nice, we have an actual to-do in here. Funny. So I guess this is the stuff that would await us in the exam anyway, right? So now we have to actually code. We have the prim. And now the question is, do we need to apply a material API or how do we have to solve this? So what confuses me is for the material, we made the binding with this rough coding way. Probably we'll need to do something similar here, but might also be just apply API and then set the API or. Okay, we need to use the material binding API. So, okay. I could have just read what is happening there. Wow. That was unnecessary. But is this correct? I don't think so. Material data, add materials, add the material name, and prim. Yeah, okay. It would have probably resulted in the
info,
same because
yeah.
Okay. We don't have access to the material name because it's not, yeah. Okay. So this is basically it. It's just so simple to lines. We add the binding API, the material binding API, and we assign the correct material to it. Nice. So what I could do now is find the OpenUSD. Set up a new terminal. You probably currently can't see what I'm doing. Let's see whether I can run this. Yeah, obviously not, because I didn't move the asset folder yet. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Ah, it opened a new shell. Okay, interesting. So what do we now have? Okay. Can't I just share half a monitor? Okay, wait, let me share this one. And I'll just move stuff around. So this is our initial building, right before we execute our script. Now I run the respective script. Which does not work out of the box because I don't have the correct runtime enabled. Oh man. Okay. So the Python environment is not set up correctly, despite it stating being active. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Since we're already 50 minutes over and I can't seem to get my Python environment set up properly within 2 minutes, I would stop this now.
Wait 1 second. Do you have Omniverse open right now?
Sure. Yeah, I can just run it in the script editor, right?
Yeah, this is also true.
But what was your
No,
suggestion?
no, it wasn't, but nevertheless, you can run it in there as well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just need to change my working directory, but then we should be fine. Yeah.
Lovely.
Fail to open layer. That does not seem right. Okay, it can't pass the working directory. That is lovely. Okay. I think it went through. Maybe. So let's try to open the asset again.
And before you do this, can you just really quick go to the viewport
Mm-hmm.
and just right click and create a cube?
Sure.
Okay, it's. Can you
What did you
go
expect?
to the? Can you go to the layer real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And right click or just click the layer? No.
Okay.
Click the layer and now scroll down a little bit and go to the meters per unit. It's 1. Okay. No, I
Okay.
keep on fucking up my scale with my scripts
Okay.
here, to the point that I have to reinstall. There's something wicked. You can totally fuck up.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So this does not seem to run properly. I know it's still this issue, right? No. It is this. Now we have proper errors again. Nice. Failed to open layer. Okay. Let me try one last thing and copy the path. Okay. Now we have an issue with the standard stuff that I didn't even write. That's nice. It's not in the local layer stack. Okay, but we did create it, right? We did create a layer and inserted it. So what the hell? Yeah, no, this is what I want. This is quite interesting. So this layer where I have some file, app data, local, temporary, which is the file copy it makes, /content /shading.usd. Okay, yeah, this is the copy of the shading layer. Not in the local layer stack, rooted in this actual USD file. So maybe this is just a wild guess. We need to save it before we try to edit it. But this is just a guess, which did not help. Okay. Yeah, so maybe Michael can help us next time to resolve this issue about why we can't see this shading layer in our newly opened edit context when we just created it, or we already have it created.
Okay, little side note here. If you work in this script editor in Omniverse and you're trying to copy paste the error logs up there, you can't copy paste it, which sucks, but you can always go to the terminal or CMD.
Yeah, to the Omniverse terminal.
Yeah, and there you can copy it.
Yeah.
And then
the tip, yeah.
And then you can just throw it into cursor. This is what I do because I have no clue. And then it does it.
Yeah, also we have a code stick here, but this code stick does actually not help at all. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Then I'd say let's call it a day. For me, even let's call it a week. I'll only do a private OpenUSD learning from now on. And thanks for those people who followed this inconvenient last half an hour.
One last question. You all have a programming background here? Okay.
But partly, many years ago. So I'm also interested in these agents that may help and explain. So there should be this USD code API that is possible to connect to Visual Code, isn't it? Where you can kind of ask.
What you can do actually is, do you have Visual Studio?
Yes.
I don't know. Can you install an MCP in Visual Studio?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you can go to my USD Good Start. No, you can go to my repo JPH2. Yeah, on GitHub, and there's a USD codenym MCP. Yeah.
Okay.
And you should be able to install it to Visual Studio, and then you just have to tell your damn agent to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not all the time. So there is what is it called now? There's like this new thing that you can look up. Yeah, skill. Create a skill. Look up agent skills. Yeah.
I've heard about those. Yeah.
So a skill is different than a rule or an agent MD file, because you like give it a certain skill, and it's like a very slim explanation of what he is supposed to do, and it doesn't mess up your context window. And then you just give it a certain skill, and when it runs into a certain issue, then it calls that skill, and that is calling in the next MD file, yeah, which is then loaded into the context window. So you're a lot nicer with the context window.
Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know how to code, so I have to know this stuff.
Yeah.
But at least, Julian,
Yeah.
this was actually the best session I've had ever with somebody going through the code, because you were like going through the code, reading and making your mistakes, and so I had a better understanding than normally, yeah, going through the stuff, because my mind just goes blank if I have to do this normally.
Yeah, but it's also, I guess, harder to follow then, or yeah, it's for some, or let's say it that way, for basically everyone with a coding background, if you go it through like that, line by line, you will have definitely points where you're just very bored, because when you're not the one presenting, you're always faster in the head, I feel like. Yeah. So this makes it, I guess, harder for most.
Okay, so for me, okay.
Yeah. I understand, yeah. But thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I just tried this with the... so for any of you who want to leave, obviously feel free to leave. But I guess, Jan, you'll be interested. I just tried it with the Synapse Garden MCP.
Yeah.
And it did find some stuff.
Okay. So, Björn, have you heard of Synapse Garden?
No, that's
okay.
New.
Look it up.
Okay, once more the word was.
So it's this one, Synapse Garden Omniverse MCP.
If you ever go to the Discord server and you see a guy called Tom Bombadil, which is not his real name, but he's the guy behind Synapse Garden.
Yeah.
And he's an Omniverse ambassador.
Yeah, I'm also present at the Discord, so I will check this out.
Yeah. So Synapse Garden, so there is Synapse Garden, which should be more powerful, or powerful in a different way. So Synapse Garden, what Tom did, Dylan Thomas is his real name, right? Dylan? I don't know.
Dylan, I'm sure, yeah.
So what he did is he made, you know what a rag is, Björn?
A rag, yes.
A rag, okay. Yeah. So he
the
pretty
one
much
with G, not CK.
yeah. So he basically ragged the resources from Omniverse, Isaac Sim, Isaac Lab, and put it into a database, and then with the overlap and the chunking and all that, and then also in a vector database to get the context. And he built an MCP server around it. And What else did he do? Do you know, Julian?
No idea. I feel like he's doing always stuff.
So the question is how long until the new voice model that was released is connected to this, so you can have the natural talk with. Is that a valid question, or is that mixing?
Again?
No,
natural...
I just saw some demos of that NVIDIA had released a new what is it called, Plex, kind of a model for having a talk, a discussion with an agent.
Okay, what I do, I use Whisper.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is it called? Whisper typing. And I use Cursor, and in Cursor you now also have the ability to talk to it, but Whisper typing is actually nicer. I always talk to mine. I even turn off the mic here and do stuff in between and talk to mine.
I'm just filling up a window with all these inspirational links.
There's also you can also use the default voice recording from Windows, but it's not powerful, and it doesn't detect your voice correctly, and it doesn't do punctuation and stuff. So since this is a bit garbage-like, you don't get good answers because your initial prompt is already very unstructured. Whereas with Whisper, it is doing the spelling and the punctuation right, and creating sentences. So you get better results. What I would actually like to do, but I haven't done yet, is have like a local LLM, like Olama, yeah, where I give my initial prompts to, and just give it a role that it always makes like super structured stuff, yeah. So you have the first LLM, which is like taking your natural language and making it more structured. And then you feed it into the ones that is supposed to give you better code. Because this way you just you don't waste the tokens of the guy that has to do the work. Yeah. Because if you just give it like yeah and which I tend to do, then this is of course taking up token space and messing up the context window and stuff.
That's great, but I tried to save this hour and move everything away. So I also truly enjoy being in this kind of community and learning and seeing and experiencing. I have set up and done some of these exercises at an earlier stage, and I don't have enough time to focus on it. But I will keep following up, and I truly appreciate your time and your knowledge sharing. Yeah.
Okay, Björn. You said that you had something with Rhino and Raven and so on.
Yeah, it's I'm being the kind of the generalist, knowing a bit about all these things, and I try to connect all the different inputs. So I'm trying to work. I have two projects that I'm trying to compose. That is about combining some of these technologies. So in that research, I stumbled upon the Raven. It's kind of a part of kind of AI guided product development. But I think I said it last week that we should have a meeting, and that is still open. I will try to find an opening for the next week. I have your link to your book.
Good. So
perfect. Take it there. Yeah.
Okay. Have a nice weekend then.
Yeah. Thank you, and likewise.
Yeah.
Take care.
Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Ja, bye now.
Ja, auch Julian. Julian?
Jo.
Also, wenn du die Gupta Vornamen?
Puja Gupta.
Genau. Ja. Also ich habe jetzt ja quasi ein anderes, eine andere, nicht Baustelle, sondern eine andere Option noch aufgemacht, weil ich den Nelson gefragt habe, ja. wegen
Das
dem
ist, glaube ich,
MVP.
gar nicht dumm, weil
Ja.
Pooja meinte, dass sie dieses Quartal eigentlich keine Kappa mehr hat, irgendwie sowas reinzudrücken.
Okay, perfekt, gut. Gut.
Ja,
Dann ist es ja perfekt. Dann machen wir auch niemanden böse oder so. Deswegen wollte ich das kurz
Nö.
ansprechen. Gut,
all
okay.
gut, ja.
Gut.
Das
Dann
passt.
schaue ich, dass ich da mit dem was mache, ja. Ich hatte heute noch mit dem Rüdiger Fritz, den hast du nicht kennengelernt, als wir über die SPS gelaufen sind. Der ist von dieser IO 4.0, also
Ah ja, Industrial
ja.
Open, bla bla, ja.
Genau, und der hat da, ist da für die ganze digitalen Zwilling-Sachen zuständig, weil er letztes Jahr noch ein digital Zwilling-Startup hatte. Das hat sich aber, da ist er nicht mehr dabei, ja. Und er war jetzt ein guter Sparringspartner, mit dem ich ein bisschen diese Composable Bindings und so weiter besprechen konnte.
Okay.
Und gehört zu der Fraktion von Leuten, die sich ärgern, dass der, wie sagt man, die Asset Administrative Shell, also die, wie heißt es auf Deutsch, die Verwaltungsschale,
Ja, ja.
so ist, wie sie ist, weil sie hat viel Geld gekostet und wird nicht das leisten, was sie leisten soll, weil sie halt falsch definiert ist. Aber da kann ich gar nicht viel zu sagen, weil ich nicht tief genug eingestiegen bin. Ich hör bloß immer von allen, das ist schon nicht schlecht, aber zu viel Aufwand und man sollte sich nur die Templates, wie heißen sie denn noch?
Submodelle?
Ja, Submodell-Templates rausnehmen und das habe ich ja auch in meinem Paper dann geschrieben. Nehmen dir halt die Submodell-Templates, da ist Definition drin, nehmen nicht die dafür vorgesehenen Slot, um dann an den Hund den Schwanz OpenUSD ranzuhängen, sondern nimm einfach die Submodel-Templates, das ist gut, und binde das Ganze halt mit den Composable Bindings zusammen und schau halt, welche Daten von wem kommen und wie du sie zusammenbinden kannst und warte nicht darauf, dass alles perfekt definiert wird, weil sonst kommst du nirgendwo hin.
Ja, das ist ein sehr gutes TLDR, ja.
Ja. Genau.
Ja, ja.
Und
wir sind aber tatsächlich mit der Open Industrie 4.0 sind wir auch weiter im Austausch tatsächlich. Da hat sich ein bisschen was ergeben. Also wir werden da vielleicht wahrscheinlich irgendwie so Fördermitglied und jetzt ist auch die Frage, ob man da irgendwie zusammenarbeitet, weil wir ja unser Netzwerk 4.0 im Allgäu ein bisschen professionalisieren wollen und auch Leute anstellen für, ja.
Ja.
Doch. Mit denen quatschen wir da, mit dem Christoph Hock, Christian Liedke, ist ja da irgendwie so einer aus dem.
Ja,
der
ich
da
habe das,
irgendwie, ja.
also ich bin mit dem Rüdiger Fritz noch im Kontakt, aber das ist so ein bisschen, dass wir uns darüber unterhalten, so grundsätzlich, ja. Aber das ist irgendwie losgelöst von dem Rest von dem Verein. Bisher.
Okay.
Genau. Und ich meine, die Mission, die ich gerade mache, ist, dass ich halt mit dem OpenUSD Good Start oder USD Good Start ein paar Workflow-Tools mache. Zum Beispiel hatte ich ja vorhin den Michi gefragt, wie es denn aussieht, wenn ich auf ein Objekt klicke, ob er mir zeigt, in welchem Layer das Scheißding ist. Ja. Weil, ja, viel Spaß. Ja. Viel Spaß, mal rauszukriegen, in welchem fucking Layer das Ding ist, wenn du es nicht weißt. Ja.
Ja. Vor allem wäre da cool, so eine Übersicht, wenn du dir in dem Property Window einfach anzeigen lassen könntest, aus welchem Layer dieser Edit kommt oder diese Property.
Genau. Das, solche Sachen will ich halt bauen, ja, als Extension und dann halt anbieten. Und da halt ein paar schöne, schicke, verschiedene Sachen halt anbieten und angefangen mit diesem Minimal Setup, wie man so eine Szene aufbauen kann, dass halt die Ordner angelegt sind, ja, in der die Layer drin liegen, so dass du halt eine feste Struktur hast, in die du halt reinarbeiten kannst und dann kannst du dir überlegen, brauche ich den Layer jetzt oder nicht, ja, brauche ich noch eine Opinion, habe ich einen Physics Layer, habe ich eine Simulation Layer, habe ich einen Data Layer, ja, wie viele Data Layer habe ich und so weiter, ja, und wenn du das, und wenn das halt immer in einem klar strukturiert wiederholbaren Struktur ist, ja, dann fange ich halt, also was ich jetzt habe, ist tatsächlich ein Python, den ich halt über ein Bed starten kann, ja, so dass ich draufdrücke und er mir einfach die Layer erstellt und also den Root erstellt, die Layer in dem Root-File und das Ganze in den Ordnern drin liegt und er mir noch das World Prim so benannt hat, wie das Projekt heißt oder wie das Asset dann heißt, ja, so dass ich das Default Prim gleich mit dem richtigen Namen habe und ich habe jetzt immer die Möglichkeit, mir den Scale einzustellen, aber das fickt mir alles. Das macht mir alles kaputt. Also da macht Omniverse ganz komische Sachen. Ich habe gestern das einmal neu gepullt, ja, weil ich es nicht weggekriegt habe und habe es neu gebildet, damit es dann wieder funktioniert. Und jetzt habe ich ihm gerade gesagt, hey, geh zurück zum Entry Point und jetzt geht's wieder. Aber wenn du eine Szene neu aufmachst, mach mal eine neue Szene kurz.
Warte mal. Here we go.
File New, ja. Okay, er macht die in Metern auf. Bei mir macht er sie halt in Zentimetern auf.
Das ist aber. Irgendwo kann man das einstellen, aber ich glaube nicht hier.
Ja, doch, da gibt es, wenn du auf Stage gehst, kannst du was einstellen.
Stage, genau.
Ja, aber. Nee, also warte, da kannst du halt. Du warst gerade schon da, diese 1 Default Meters per Unit.
Ja.
Und da macht er bei mir, wenn ich das auf 1, jetzt muss ich mal ganz kurz schauen, weil du kannst, und dann kannst du noch mal auf den Root Layer mit Rechtsklick oder einfach mit Klick, dann hast du unten das Property.
Auf den kann man das auch einstellen, ne?
Aber
Achso, ja, einfach draufklicken, genau.
Draufklicken und dann hast du unten die Properties. Geh nochmal hoch. Doppler Limit, Doppler nicht.
Nee.
Layer, Metadata, ist es das? Da, Meters per Unit, okay, da macht er dir 1. Bei mir macht er da jetzt immer ein 0,99999855763 oder so. Also er rundet irgendwie auf die 10. Stelle.
Okay.
Ja.
Scheiße.
Super nervig. Macht er das jetzt? Nee, jetzt ist er bei Meters per Unit 01, er ist auf Zentimeter.
Aber das klingt ja so, als würde er sich das bei dir irgendwoher ziehen und dann damit rechnen wollen und dann am Ende kommt halt durch diese Float-Rundungsfehler bei dir so ein Quatschwert raus. Weil das, was du beschreibst, klingt ja nach Rundungsfehler aus Gründen von Datentyp oder so.
Ja, aber das ist ganz komisch. Also ich habe halt ich habe mir ein Skript gebaut, in dem ich halt sagen kann, hey, mach die Szene in Zentimeter, Meter oder irgendwas, ja, oder Zentimeter, Meter oder Millimeter, ja, und dann erzeugt er mir die. Und ich habe ihm vorher ganz genau gesagt, die soll so und so aussehen. Also ich habe es vorher alles eingestellt und dann lasse ich das Skript laufen und es zerschießt mir mein ganzes Programm. Alle Scales sind auf einmal völlig falsch, was super nervig ist. Das heißt, ich mache jetzt diese Möglichkeit, mir den Scale auszuwählen, weg. Aber jetzt ist halt
und
die Sache.
wartest, bis er mal tut.
Ja. Aber jetzt, du bist zum Beispiel jetzt im Meter, ja? Und ich bin mit meinem Default in Zentimeter. Und auch super strange. Mach mal jetzt einen Kubus. Rechtsklick. Ja. Create. So, der hat jetzt einen Scale von 1, ne? So, jetzt geh mal in den Layer rein. Ja.
Also
und in den Layer und unten auf die Property und mach da Meters per Unit 0,01. Also in Zentimeter, ne? So. Und jetzt mach mal einen neuen Kubus.
Ja, ich bin ja in dem Layer, also müsste der jetzt einen viel kleineren bauen. Yes.
Er hat ja jetzt einen kleineren. Hat er bei mir halt nicht gemacht, der Arsch.
Nee, warte, ist der größer?
Nee.
Doch.
Mach mal Licht an.
Licht ist an.
Oben.
Der ist halt nur da ganz drin. Also er hat mir jetzt einen größeren gemacht. Weil hier ist der. Ah nee, warte. Es heißt ja auch, ja, nee, das macht schon Sinn. Weil es heißt ja auch Meter pro Unit. Und er macht ihn ja 1 Unit groß.
Ja. Bei mir hat er halt
Nee,
gestern, bei mir
Okay.
hat er gestern die trotzdem gleich groß gemacht. Da war alles komplett strange.
Ja. Ja, und der müsste ja aber jetzt. Ah, der sagt jetzt trotzdem, das Scale hat sich nicht verändert. Das ist natürlich irgendwie böse.
Ja, genau. Das ist halt die Sache. Ja, oder so rum. Ja, genau, so rum war das. Ja, das war das Ding. Genau. Er macht die unterschiedlich groß, aber lässt den Scale gleich. Das heißt, auf den Scale kannst du dich nicht verlassen. Ja. Und dann frage ich mich, wo schreibt er was überhaupt rein? Weil er muss dann ja noch woanders was reinschreiben.
Ja. Ja,
Das
weil
ist halt,
der hier müsste ja jetzt quasi einen Scale von 100 haben.
ja.
Hat er aber nicht. Ja, okay. Scheiße. Ach Mann,
Genau, also
dieses Omniverse.
Vorsicht.
Mhm.
Okay, dann gehe ich jetzt auf Zentimeter, aber ist das das Normale? Das ist halt die Sache. Aber warte mal, ich mache noch mal den Achter auf. Hast du noch eine Sekunde?
Ja, sicher.
So, also ich mache mal den Achter hier auf. Tück. Wenn du mir vor 1,5 Jahren gesagt hättest, dass ich meine Programme über Cursor im Terminal aufmache, ich hätte dich angeguckt. Aber er hat ihn jetzt hier auch gar nicht. Ach so, nee, habe ich, weil ich ihn nicht geladen habe. Terminal. Was ist denn ein guter Trick, um schnell dahin zu kommen? Egal, ich weiß schon. Das ist 08. Ja, nee, CD. CD. Jetzt den blöden Repubet Launch. Ah, da ist er. Okay. Also ich lade jetzt gerade den 108, weil mit dem habe ich noch nicht so rumgefickt.
Mhm.
Und schaue, was der macht, wenn ich Rechtsklick mache. Weil ich weiß,
Okay.
dass also wenn ich eine neue Szene aufmache, die Default-Szene, so rum. Und, weil ich weiß vom Nandu, also der anderen Study Group, wo ich da mal bin, ja, die sind ja auch alle mit Isaac Sim und Isaac Lab unterwegs, dass der halt immer
Mhm.
im Meter ist, ja, und bei mir ist er
Ja.
aber ein Zentimeter, ja.
Ja, das ist schon komisch.
Mit der 1.0, hast du die 1.0? Ach nee, du bist in Isaac Sim und Isaac Lab. Du bist gar nicht im Composer, ne?
Yep.
Okay. Weil der Composer, das ist ganz interessant, wenn ich mit der Default-Szene, die mit dem 1.9 aufmache, dann hat er normalerweise bei den Render-Settings so eine Einstellung, dass er nach 500 Frames einfach nicht mehr den Frame berechnet, damit er nicht die ganze Zeit die Grafikkarte am Laufen hat.
Ja.
In der Default-Szene, der läuft einfach weiter. Der schaltet sich nicht aus. Da muss ich dann schon irgendwas anderes anmachen oder einen Kubus reinsetzen oder so und dann macht das. Ganz komisch.
Keine Arbeit, dann kann er hier nie machen.
Die Grafikkarte muss geheizt werden, sonst geht die nicht kaputt.
Ja, am Ende, also es wäre schlimm, wenn der Stecker überlebt. Wenn der nicht sich mit der Karte verschmelzen würde.
Ja.
Ich habe auch echt immer noch ein bisschen Bedenken. Wir haben ja jetzt diese, was wir auf der SPS hatten, diese Rack-Mounted-Ding mit 25090.
Ja.
Und wenn da halt das Kabel anfängt zu schmoren, dann schmort es halt, bis der Computer ausgeht, ne?
Ja.
Weil das merkt ja keiner, dass da dann nach Plastik riecht, wenn der da irgendwo im Technikum steht und man nur remote drauf arbeitet. Vielleicht kaufe ich doch mal noch so es gibt ja so Monitore, wie heißen die denn? Von Thermal Grizzly.
Dass du einen
Deutsche
Sensor da
Firma.
kurz einbaust, oder was?
Ja, genau. Den packst du in das Kabel rein, also als kleinen Adapter quasi vor die Grafikkarte. Und dann schaut der, ob auf allen Adern gleichmäßig viel Strom fließt. Wenn halt eine über 10 Ampere geht, also außerhalb von der Spezifikation vom Stecker, dann kannst du den das System runterfahren lassen.
Aha, okay. So, also 108 macht auch in Zentimetern auf. Das heißt, es scheint. Jetzt frage ich ihn mal. Ich hatte ihn ja eh gerade gefragt. So I'm having Composer open, and when I open a scene, the default is centimeters. Friend of mine here is working with Isaac Sim and Isaac Lab, and when he opens the scene, it's in meters. Can you please look that up? Use the Synop Garden MCP to figure out what the hell is going on here. Man muss schon richtig
Schön formuliert.
Ja. Hast du diesen Claude-Bot, hast du davon gehört? Oder Modbot
ja, aber
heißt
ich habe
er
es
jetzt?
nicht ausprobiert.
Ja, ist ja auch die Frage, ob man das sollte. Wie viel Kontrolle will man der Kiste geben? Wobei.
Ist der Claude Cowork oder so?
Ja, nee, der hieß Claude. Nee, Claude Cowork ist von Claude selber. Ja.
Ja.
Und dann ist halt dieses Open Source Ding Claude Bot und da hat sich Claude halt beschwert und deswegen heißt er jetzt irgendwie anders. Warte. Molesbot hieß er dann 2 Tage und jetzt heißt er wieder nochmal.
Claudebot und ja. Ja. Richtig.
Und
der ist halt gefährlich, ja.
Aber die Sache ist, ja, das ist ja Open Source und du kannst ja eigentlich, also was ja gefährlich ist, dass du ihn halt von überall mit deinem Handy und so weiter, mit WhatsApp und so weiter anfunken kannst, ja. Aber die Frage ist, ob man nicht sich eine abgespeckte Version quasi bauen kann, ja. Weil ist ja eh alles auf GitHub. Du musst dann das Ding halt reinziehen in Cursor und halt anfangen rumzubasteln. Und
gibt dem Ding einfach kein Network Access und ja. Wobei, das muss ja vielleicht auch mal googeln, ne?
Ja, schon. Ohne Network Access ist blöde. Und dann ist die Sache, eigentlich will ich den halt quasi auf meiner, in dem Fall 3090er laufen lassen, ja. Und da bin ich halt mit Olama, gibt es halt ein paar Modelle, aber die werden ja jedes Jahr, die Chinesen kriegen es ja hin, es immer effizienter zu machen. Das heißt, dass meine 20 Gig 3090er wahrscheinlich in einem Jahr richtig gut ist, weil die Chinesen halt die Modelle kleiner gekriegt haben. Und eigentlich ist es das, was ich mit meinem Cursor schon angefangen habe, weil ich ja mit dem auch die ganze Zeit spreche und der ja auch schon darüber Access hat und mir meine Sachen zusammenbauen kann. Nur eben nationwide, wollte ich sagen, halt über das ganze Betriebssystem wide. Wobei, das gebe ich dem Cursor auch schon. Ja, also der fragt da nochmal nach. Ja. Aber spannend. Genau, was hat er denn jetzt geantwortet hier? Schauen wir mal. Omniverse developer guide states that fallback state linear units are centimeters. So any KISS-based app, including Composer, doesn't override this will get centimeters for new stagers. And Isaac Lab explicitly uses meters. Okay.
Mhm. Weil andere Zielgruppe oder wie?
Keine Ahnung, ja. Ja.
Mhm. Okay.
Problem ist bei dem, was ich da mache, wenn ich denn immer die Stage einstellen lasse von meinem Script, ja, dass er zwar die Szene skaliert, aber nicht die Kamera und den ganzen Environment-Krams und so weiter. Was dann zur Folge hat.
Mit den Faden und so weiter, oder wie? Für eine Kamera,
ja,
oder
genau.
was meinst du mit? Ja,
ja, nee, also ich habe dieses Setup, dieses Python-Script, was ich halt über Embed aufrufe, ja, was mir dann die Root-File und die ganzen Layers erstellt und da kann ich ihm ja sagen, mach das in Zentimetern, Metern oder Millimetern, ja. Und bei der Erstellung skaliert er zwar die Szene, ja, aber er skaliert nicht die Kameras und so weiter. Das ist also diese Stage, das sind zwei Sachen, die unabhängig voneinander skaliert werden. Ja.
Kamera im Sinne von Position.
Und Größe, ja. Ich habe dann zum
Aber,
Teil.
also, sorry, ich verstehe den Kameragröße verstehe ich nicht.
Okay.
Vielleicht stehe ich aber auch auf dem Schlauch.
Also, ich erkläre es dir kurz. Ich habe da ein Setup gehabt, ja, wo ich dann alles in Metern hatte. Und dann war mein Kajak halt 2,70 Meter lang, super geil, alles gut. Und dann habe ich eine Kamera in die Szene reingeschmissen, die war 100 Meter lang. Ja. So, wenn du die jetzt runterskalierst mit 0,01 oder so, ja, dass sie halt wieder 1 Meter lang ist, dann hat sie aber das Problem, dass die Auflösung von dem, wie du die Kamera bewegst, immer noch im falschen Scale ist. Das heißt, du kriegst deine scheiß Szene nicht mehr bewegt. Ja.
Okay.
Dann kannst du halt gar nichts mehr machen.
Das heißt, ihr lokaler, also ihr X-Form-Scale ist halt irgendwie wild.
Ja, genau. Also du kannst da das Ding richtig geil durcheinander bringen. Und das habe ich jetzt die letzten 3 Tage gemacht und komme nicht vorwärts.
Ach, kacke. Okay.
Ja. So. Genau. In diesem Sinne.
Ja, unangenehm. Dann,
ja, der normale Wahnsinn.
ja. Dann wünsche ich dir aber trotzdem eine gute Zeit und viel Erfolg, das zu fixen.
Ja. Ich mache einfach keinen Scale. Ich bleib einfach in meinen Zentimetern. Punkt.
Ja.
Ja.
Fair. Gut. Dann,
bis dann.
Bis dann. Ciao.
Jo, ciao.